you're a college applicant, you finally reach the point where everything you've done over the last several months or say several years to prepare for the college admission process is coming to fruition. Hopefully you have the responses from colleges that you like. You've been offered admission to more than one place. You have options, and many of you are now considering the prospect of making this affordable. So to the extent that you might have applied for financial aid, the letters of financial aid are coming to you at the same time or shortly after your offers of admission. A lot to consider at this moment. I just want to point something out about the financial aid award letter. When you look at that financial aid award letter, you're not looking at a distribution of cash to you, because when you get financial aid, you're not getting cash, nothing negotiable. What that financial aid award letter is an acknowledgement from the institution that your family cannot afford to pay full for the total cost of attendance. And that letter then is providing some direction for you in terms of where you can find additional resources to finish the rest. Now, hopefully that financial aid award letter says also that, there's going to be some grant or some scholarship that is part of the package for you. Well, that grant or scholarship, again, is not a negotiable cash item. It is actually a forgiveness of payment from the rest. So your family is going to be contributing a certain amount to your college education. You'll be getting some amount perhaps from loans, from work study opportunities. And if there is still an amount that needs to be covered to pay for your total college expense, the institution then will say, we're going to give you a grant or a scholarship. And that grant or scholarship is like a discount. They're saying, don't worry about paying that amount. So you need to remember that. Now, as you look at your financial aid awards, the thing that's going to drive you nuts is that they're not standardized. It's not like all of these schools look at the same information and come to the same conclusions. They look at your financial information and come to different conclusions about how much they think you can afford to pay, which is your expected family contribution. And then they'll also make a value judgment with regard to how badly they want you. So if it turns out that you can't afford to pay full, and they're putting together financial aid to help you meet the rest of that cost, if they really like you a lot, then they might put a scholarship in, which again is not money for you. It's simply saying, don't worry, you don't have to pay that, which is cool. You want that. You want to be in a position where you don't have to pay that. Comparing financial aid awards is going to be the thing that is going to be very important here for you going forward. You want to be able to look at apples and apples rather than apples and oranges. And that's going to be frustrating. So as you get financial aid award letters, try to do this. Separate out the amount of funding that you have to come up with for yourself, either out of your own pocket, we'll call it the expected family contribution, or money you have to come up with from loans that either you or your parents need to borrow in that first year. Take a look at the total amount there of your financial exposure as a family, and then subtract that from the total cost of attendance to see what the forgiveness of payment will be. But it's that total amount that your family is going to need to absorb through the loans and the out-of-pocket expense. That's the total amount that the institution is going to be asking you to take care of. So look at that for each of the colleges that you're considering. That's the most important piece, because your out-of-pocket piece is the most important. Don't look at the amount of scholarship. You might get a $20,000 scholarship at one place and a $30,000 scholarship at another place. And you're thinking, wow, well, the $30,000, they like me more. Well, there's an awful lot that goes into that, including the actual cost of that institution. That, if it costs more, then $30,000 is simply covering more of the forgiveness, but it's not reducing necessarily what your family has to pay. So that's what you want to focus on as you look at letters. How much are we going to have to come up with to pay the bill, either from out of pocket, expected family contribution, or the loans that you are eligible to take, both as a student and as a parent. And if you proceed in this way, you'll come to a better conclusion about what's more affordable as you look at these different colleges.